Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And aren't you all happy the weekend is here once again? We're looking at XRP on the 1-day chart, sitting here just under 47.5 cents. And people are talking about the market dipping. But we're literally moving 3 pennies. And people act like the sky is falling once again. You know, this is why I always tell you, stop thinking like a retail investor. Start figuring out what you're holding. Because the price of XRP is very undervalued right now. It is absolutely going to skyrocket in price at some point, and we all know it's coming. And you think it's undervalued. Even Brad Garlinghouse can't believe that XRP is so undervalued. Take a listen.
I think it's strange to me that XRP is in such a unique position and that the market hasn't kind of rewarded that. XRP in the US is one of the few things we can say definitively is not a security. With ETH, I don't know how that's going to play out, right? Apparently Wells noticed.
So he already says it's in a unique position and the market hasn't rewarded that yet. He doesn't understand why we're not sitting at a much higher price. And that's what every retail investor out there right now is thinking as well. You know, we see all the connections happening all around the world, but yet there's no price movement. I still think this is the time we continue to accumulate, because we know what's coming is going to be absolutely epic. It is going to be absolutely incredible once that time comes. And that's why I'm always telling you, you know, don't sell your XRP now. I see people saying that every day. I'm going to sell my XRP. I'm tired of holding it. I'm going to sell my XRP. This coin over here is pumping right now. You know, people always say to me when I talk to them about what I do, you know, like if I run into somebody, a client from my security business, they always say, what else do you do other than this? And I tell them, I'm a YouTuber and I talk about crypto. Oh, so you're an influencer. I'm like, no, not really. What I am is people's conscience, trying to keep them holding XRP so they don't miss out on the greatest opportunity that's about to happen. And you know what's really strange? A lot of people lately have been asking me about crypto. People I talked to about crypto like 2 years ago, all of a sudden now asking me about it. I think it's because people are now starting to realize that crypto is the future. I just want to get you to the finish line. That's what matters to me the most, helping you get there. This comes from Smoke, JP Morgan. Stocks are in a calm before the storm. The largest financial institutions are on the same page as this. They are making the necessary investments behind the scenes with the best data available. All while retail says, but nobody knows. Research and you will. Enjoy the silence before the storm. The outlook for crypto is overwhelmingly positive and is projected to be among first assets to recover. Having the right perspective allows you to see right past the FUD. That's what I'm always telling you. Ignore the FUD. Ignore the naysayers. There's so many people on X. You could go on X right now and write up a post about XRP showing facts on how it's going to move the money around the world. And people right away will say, yeah, but look at the price of XRP. It's like you got to think like an institutional investor. To be in the 1%, you can't act like the 99%. That comes from ISO Go. And it's true. And that's why I'm always telling you, don't think like a retail investor. Know what you hold. And every time you think about selling your XRP, go back to what you have learned up to this point. Go back and look at all the connections that Ripple made all around the world. Look at all the payment rails that are set up for Ripple inside of BRICS, inside of FedNow, inside of the ECB. the BIS, the IMF talking about XRP. That's what you hold. You hold the future. This also comes from Smoke, June 11, 2024, institutional investor presentation. We are taking things like Swift, Visa, and upgrading them into a digital equivalent like Ripple. Sophisticated investors are buying into real use cases and are stating the companies by name that they are behind. Take a listen.
There are many use cases now, very successful investment use cases, and I won't go through these in detail other than to say very briefly that there are good reasons why a lot of value is being captured. So if you look at number one, as I already mentioned, we need infrastructure to allow for the digitalization of finance and commerce, and that's being created by companies with names like Anchorage and Fireblocks and Kraken and so on. And these are digital custodians or wallets or marketplaces, and we're investors in all of those, are ones that we show as examples here. In terms of monies and commodities and assets, the same thing is true. We're taking things like Swift or Visa or MasterCard, and we're upgrading them into digital equivalents, which have names like Ripple or Yellow Card, and we're digitalizing.
Take notice, he said they're upgrading Swift, upgrading Visa. Like I said, Ripple is fixing the back end at Visa and MasterCard. And we are pushing into the digital age. This comes from Cyprus. People tend to overestimate these things in the short term, but then underestimate them in the long term. You know, right now, people always try to convince you that XRP isn't going to be working with the banks. The banks are never going to utilize XRP, but it's all happening behind the scenes already. The banks are pushing into the digital age. Everything is getting put in place for the new financial system. And if anything, we're still underestimating how big this actually is. If you know what you hold, you can see XRP as an easy 3-digit asset. And if you hold it long enough, 4 digits, maybe even 5. This also comes from ISO 222. Let's do it. 10 exchanges operating in Europe alone could be fined €1 billion or more from June 30th onward. This is how big MiCA's compliance actually is. And look at the exchanges that are not following the rules, are not compliant. Binance, Bitstamp, Bitfinex, Bybit, Coinbase, Crypto.com, HTX, Kraken, Qcoin, and OKX. Like I told you, the exchanges are not 100% safe. What's going to happen if they can't comply with MiCA regulations? They're not going to be able to operate in the EU. The good thing is there's another exchange out there, and I hold their coin. It's called LCX, fully regulated. Also will pass MiCA regulations. We are going to see a shift around exchanges as well once MiCA goes into place, once crypto regulations are put in place. I think we're going to see the fall of some exchanges along the way. This comes from Black Swan Capitalist. We're entering the end cycle of a global currency, so all bets are off for traditional portfolios. When the financial system breaks, and it will, bonds will go through the roof and destroy massive amounts of wealth. Own gold, silver, and digital assets like XRP, XLM, and Stronghold, he says. I also will add to that list HBAR, XLM, QNT, Algo, IOTA, Nexera. And you know, anybody that has a lot of fiat, they are going to get wiped out when this system crashes and burns. And it's going to happen. They're telling you it's coming. But it's not on the mainstream media news, so nobody wants to believe it. The other day, we just lost the petrodollar agreement with Saudi Arabia, and people thought that all of a sudden, like an overnight event, we were going to watch the US dollar collapse. I even said it's not going to happen right away. I think it's going to happen gradually. You got to look at the other countries that are tied to the US dollar. They will most likely start to collapse out first. Then all of a sudden, the panic will set in. All of a sudden, it will be on the mainstream media news. But we are still facing that massive liquidity crisis as well. This comes from Zoom. This is proof that the same people that created Bitcoin created XRP. And they go on to talk, I'm not going to read through all of this. They even have ties to the Grateful Dead, Ryan Fugger, domain names all the way back in 2004. But we know that the same people that created Bitcoin created XRP. That's why Bitcoin is the beta test coin. This also comes from Zoom. Manipulation of the Bitcoin market. Massive if true. Tether crashes equals everything tied up with Tether goes down too. I had some cryptocurrencies that were tied to Tether. I've been shifting them towards USDC. And we know Tether is propping up Bitcoin. Everybody in this space knows that is happening. But yet so many people all of a sudden are in denial about it. I see people say this and right away people are like, no, it's BlackRock propping up Bitcoin now, not Tether. Let me tell you something. Tether is doomed. It's going to start with MiCA regulations at the end of this month. But those same regulations are going to get put in place in every single country. They're going to be very similar. They might not be called MiCA, but they are going to be one and the same. Because you can't make cross-border payments without regulations that are similar. You can't go from one country to another country and have totally different regulations. It will not work with cross-border payments. And even CZ may have been warning us all along. Remember when he said the Titanic sinks, little floats near it get dragged down too, but the floats will eventually come back up if they are untethered. I think CZ was warning us early on. But we are XRP investors. And I'm going to talk more about that new Ripple stablecoin in another video, because I think things are going to be big around that stablecoin, and I'll show you why, especially with the fall of Tether. But even USDC, I think, will not have the same value as Ripple's new stablecoin. We'll talk about that, though. So again, we're looking at XRP. This is the 7-day chart. We're still playing in cents. Wait until we start seeing XRP jump up by a dime and then jump up by 30, 40 cents very fast, because that's going to happen. And there's going to be pullbacks and people will call the top. You got to know what you're holding, because a lot of people are already saying, oh, once this cycle ends, we're going to be in a bear market again for such a long drawn out period of time. I don't know if we're going to see the same type of bear market for XRP and these other cryptocurrencies. We are going into a time where the digital age is here now. A new financial system is coming. And if utility is driving the price of these cryptocurrencies, I don't think we're going to see major pullbacks and long drawn out bear markets. I think we are going to break what's happened in the past, is what I'm saying. But we'll talk more about that in another video as well. Until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.